It's about 11:15 a.m. We'll plug our microphone in, get the wind off. 11:15 a.m. on June 3rd. It's not a sleepy, dusty Delta day by any means. Let's get over 3 days of 90-degree temperatures, and today, at this point in time, it's breezy, overcast, and 62 degrees. At one of our favorite places in the North Country, the Babbie Rural Farm and Learning Museum. And we thought we'd, in deference to our old buddy Steve Flanagan, the younger, we'd take a look at this old milk cart here that's on display proudly outside of this museum at 250 River Road in Peru. It's a Saturday, and I'm sure there'll be more and more people arriving as the day progresses. Throughout the summer months, they are open, and before we leave, we'll find out the days of operation and hopefully talk to our old friend Leeward Bobby. All right, we've made our way inside, and we are here in Peru, and there's a 1869 view of the town here, and we're talking to the founder, the founding father of this museum, and he's got a lot of family involved, Mr. Leeward Bobby, and I'll talk real loud because Leeward's getting a little hard of hearing in his years here, and if you hear me shouting, don't think I'm mad at him. So Leeward, remember what year we started all this?
Pardon?
Remember what year you started all this?
Yeah, 2010.
All right. I remember we were at a quadricentennial event in the village of Champlain, and you came over and said, hey, we're starting a museum, and that was in 2009. So this came through 13 years ago, in 2010.
Does it make that long?
13 years, yep.
Oh, well.
That's if you were a kid and you started kindergarten, you'd be graduated by now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's still going strong. A lot of family members involved.
Yeah, we do. I have all 4 kids around now.
All 4 are here now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The 2
The girls
that were
have come back?
What's that?
The girls have come back?
Yeah, they came back. They were gone for quite a while, but it's nice to have them back.
Yeah, back in the neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so even though they knew they'd have to work here, they came back anyway.
Yeah. Well, they were brought up not to be scared of work.
Oh, okay. You grow up on a farm, you can't be afraid of work.
No.
All right, so you got new things happening, even though it's a museum, you got new things happening every year, and
Yeah, we try to do new things every year. Of course, this year has been the sawmill. You haven't been back there yet?
I know it was being constructed last year, and
Oh, yeah. It's operational now.
okay, so I'll be wandering back there in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a chilly day, you should have picked a warmer day for today.
Yeah, it was nice yesterday. I love heat, so this doesn't excite me at all.
No. I love heat too, except when I was just throwing bales 4 or 5 high onto the wagon. Did you ever throw any bales on a wagon?
Yeah, I've done it, but we had a slide behind the baler, which...
A kicker?
No, it
Oh,
was
wasn't it
before
kicker?
the kicker.
Before the kicker, you had a
This
slider.
They came out, went right onto the wagon, and I would stack them on the wagon.
Of course, your earliest heydays were probably behind a horse with a hay loader.
Yeah, hay loaders, wagons, yeah. It did improve quite a bit in my lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Minor Farm rents some of our property, and they came through there mowing, and they own some property around me, and they came through there mowing, and that mower's got to be 35 feet wide now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Disc binds, and we used to plug up, and very aggravating. But with disc binds, that doesn't happen very often.
No.
Yeah.
So you're still active in the museum?
Still what?
You're still active?
Well, yeah, but much slower.
Much slower, okay, that happens.
Yeah.
So they haven't replaced you as being the man in charge? They haven't tried to overthrow you?
Well, yeah, they do, and they get away with it, but as long as things get done, I'm happy. So,
Okay.
yeah, things are a little different, but as long as it's what people want, I guess it's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we're looking forward to this this year here. We're a couple weeks into the season here.
Yeah.
Do you know your hours offhand when you're
Yeah,
open?
we're still the same, 10 to 4 every day except Sunday, I guess.
You're not open on Sundays?
No, first year we ruled out Sunday. Seems like it was low attendance on Sundays for some reason. So we cut that day off. They wanted to give me more time off.
Okay. Let you go to church.
Hey?
Let you go to church.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a little different, but as long as it's still good for the people. We had school tours yet. We had in the last 2 days there, we had school tours.
Yeah. In June, you get a lot of schools.
Yeah. Yeah. Got one this coming week, rather, not weekend. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we wanted to say hello. We're going to take a walk around and check out what's happening today.
Yeah.
And encourage people to show up here.
We're still working to get a schoolhouse, but I guess we decided not to move one onto the premises and probably build one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we'll go out in the woods and get the logs and then saw the logs up, and we'll have the lumber for the schoolhouse.
I know where you can find a sawmill.
Yeah.
Right outside.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nice seeing you again, Leeward, and we'll take a little tour around.
All right. Same here.
All right.
Glad to have you.
Farmer was not busy in the fields.
Okay, we've made our way into one of the vast display areas here, and I won't have to talk quite as loud with you, will I?
No, I can hear quite well, thank you.
And who are you?
I'm Babbie Ledesma, so I'm Leeward Bobby's oldest daughter. And
Oldest one.
yes, and I've been the executive director here for a little over a year. So been working on some new projects.
And this is one here, huh?
Yeah, so we got a grant from the New York State Museum Association. So we use that to add some technology to the museum. So we've got 2 interactive kiosks that we're hoping will appeal to some of the younger generations, and also this little mini movie theater. And we've got about a 7.5 minute movie here that Dad Leeward does an introduction on, as far as how this museum kind of came about, and that it was his dream. And then it kind of does an overview of the period of time that this museum focuses on.
So this is an original film that you guys put together.
Yes. Carol Rock did a lot of work on this film and also on the mini movies on the kiosk. But Yeah, and so it's, I think, again, a great way to start your visit to the museum because you can see the time period and the rural and farm life we're trying to capture here at the museum.
Okay, so this is an original production, and you found some old photos and
Right, and then again, like I said, Dad does a great introduction to the whole thing and to the museum in general, and then it goes through, farm and rural life, in the 1800s and early 1900s.
okay, and this is only available if you come here, right? It's not on the internet.
That is
Not on-
correct, and
So,
and again, the 24 like mini movies that we have here really focus on our displays and our buildings. We do have a new sawmill. Our next project is the schoolhouse that will be actually building using the sawmill.
you're using that "we" again. You're gonna be, how much
I
nailing and cutting are you gonna be doing here?
Probably none.
Oh, okay.
But we have some great volunteers that do a lot of woodworking and know their way around a sawmill. So
Somebody has to supervise, right?
yeah, that would be me. And take pictures, right? I go out there and take a lot of pictures, but otherwise, yeah, we're doing our best here to stay involved in the community. I've kept the place open all winter long, so we've had classes here. We have monthly paint and sips. We have monthly needle felting, monthly dowsing classes. We've got a card making class this afternoon. So we're just trying to, find a way to connect better to the community and again, the younger generations with a certain level of technology.
All right, so you kept this, part of this open all winter? That must have been hard to heat.
Yeah, well, it was mostly the main building that we kept open.
Yeah.
We are planning on insulating and heating the schoolhouse, so we have another building that we would be able to use in the winter. But, yeah.
Well, if you put a few cows in there, they'll heat the building for you.
Yeah, but then I'll have other problems to deal with. My cleanup will be a lot more intense than it is now. But, yeah, great to have you out here and,
Now, you got a project this summer with Peru History?
yeah, so we've been partnering, Greg Badger, who's doing a lot of the artwork at the Hayworth Park there, the historic building. He had a vision to do some like oral history, interviewing individuals. We're working with Helen Nurska. That's the Town of Peru historian, and we just brought on the Cornell Cooperative Extension as another partner in this.
There he is. Look how young he looks.
Yeah, that's a real old picture.
Well, you're a real old guy, that's why.
There's some younger pictures. Look at him there. He's like
Holy
probably
cow.
20. But yeah,
Modern milking machine and everything.
yeah. Look.
There he is, looking at you. Hard to believe he was ever so good looking at him now, right?
Now that's not very nice.
All right.
He can hear good when he wants to, can't he?
Oh yeah. It's called selective hearing with him. But yeah, so yeah, we're excited again about doing more projects and more collaboration.
Okay, I'm going to ask this many times today, so your days of operation through the summer?
Well, we are taking private tours now, but we have one special event a month, and then we're open on Saturdays. So it's pretty much Saturdays from 10 to 4. Once a month, we've got published special events. We've got published classes. And then we have scheduled school tours. And then we are taking reservations for private tours of 5 people or more. We'll open up anytime during the week.
Okay, so
apples.
If you just had nothing to do on a Tuesday afternoon in July, you can't just stop in here then.
Well, I mean, you can, it's just maybe we'll be, dad
Occupied.
hanging out. He could give a mini tour, maybe. But, yeah, I mean, it's been challenging
Well,
finding
sure.
volunteers and, we just want to make sure that there's a consistent experience for visitors. And if you don't have the volunteers, in the buildings or, running any of the exhibits, then we just don't want to have people to have less than,
The full experience, yeah.
yeah, so I think it just makes a lot more sense for us to have, focus days that we're here.
Okay, so if you have any questions, you have a Facebook page and,
Yeah, we have a website, www.babbiemuseum.org. We have a Facebook page. We keep up to date with all of our classes, events on both of those sites. We do a certain level of advertising in the newspaper too. Our next event is the Clinton County Museum Days, which is coming up June.
17th,
Yep,
18th.
yep. So we'll be open that whole weekend, and I know we're gonna have some level of classes. I'm not sure what they are yet. So, anyway,
Okay, so contact these folks through Facebook and they'll get right back to you. This lady's sitting right there waiting to reply
Yeah.
to everybody.
that's right. I check about 6 different email accounts, so yeah, I'll get back to you.
Okay, Lee, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna venture out in that chilly temperature out there right now.
I think it's nice, but yeah, like Dad said, he's not happy unless it's 90.
What about?
Oh, you like those hot temperatures, you.
I do.
I think 50 or 60 is perfect. I spent too many years in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
That feels comfortable to me.
And one of the other things available to you on your little tour here electronically is you've got this here set up here, and you're going to have another inside this display area, which is near the main office. And you're going to have another one out in the Goshen store.
That is correct, yes.
And every one of these little pictures is a different movie that's available, a mini movie.
Yes, yeah, a couple minutes, and it really focuses on the displays and exhibits that we have around the museum. And you can see there's our butter making display. We've got the Goshen store featured, even our new sawmill. We've got a movie
Okay.
on that, the
So-
blacksmith shop.
Show us what they have to do. Just push a button.
Yeah,
just
so
pick
it's an
both-
interactive kiosk, so you just, that one's, let me see.
There we go.
That's potato harvesting, so we've got a whole,
All right. So who's your narrator?
it's like a kind of a computerized, computer generated.
Oh no, this is an AI, is it?
I think it may be a little bit, yes. Again, Carol Rock put the photos together with the dialogue, and some of this is available on our audio tour also. So if we just
So you
let
can
me
just
see.
come in here and
Yeah, like
find a subject that looks interesting and push the
right,
picture.
or
And
or sometimes it's just a good overview before you walk the grounds. So you know what you're looking at, I guess.
Right. And let's face it, the kids today, they got that phone with them and they're pushing the buttons all the time. So this will get their attention and then bring them into the real world when they step outside.
Right, and I think that museums on the whole are trying to get more technology in them because yes, the younger generation expects that when they visit a place, and so again, we were very fortunate to get a grant from New York State Museum Association to create these 2 kiosks and that little movie theater. So yeah, we're
They put your money
excited.
to good use. And,
Yes,
and very efficiently done. I mean, you would think all this might have been more than what your grant covered, so you're very
Yeah,
efficient in the
and,
use of that
we
grant.
even had volunteers creating the podiums, so there was a pretty big labor of love all winter long on these movies, and purchasing the technology. And so hopefully we'll get visitors that will come in here and enjoy them.
Okay.
Yeah, we're focusing on harvesting in here this year. And then in the main room you were just in, our display that we change out every year is focusing on the history of the town of Peru. So Helen Nurska put that display together, and we've got Lincoln Sunderland showing up too. He's got his 3-volume set of books, and he does book signing. So, yeah,
Okay.
just creating some stronger partnerships in the community. Even Obershan Hardware is doing the Roundup program for us this month.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
So
so,
if you round up your sale, the extra pennies go toward the Babbie Rural Farm and Learning Museum. Or
Yeah.
Is it Rural Farm and Learning? I can never remember.
rural and farm I know, I don't know, I think Dad probably came up with that long name because it's a tongue twister on most days. But, yeah, well, again, thank you, and yeah, just wander
I'm a
around
wanderer.
and
I'm a
and see
wanderer.
see what's out there. Thank you. All right.
Lee was telling me off camera that through the winter months they had a whole bunch of people who live just miles away from this museum right here in Peru and have never ventured over here, and they stopped in for the first time this winter. So if you got family coming up visiting, they're basically only open on Saturday unless you make a reservation, so don't just pop in if it's not a Saturday. And they have special events like the 18th. They'll be open because of museum days, so they're open that entire weekend, 17th and 18th. But for the most part, it's basically a Saturday operation now, unless you contact them and make reservations. But this place has certainly grown since it's started. As I mentioned to Leeward, Gordy Little and I were doing a show in Champlain for the Quadricentennial in 2009, and Leeward and his nephew Ricky Lauren came over and said, "Hey, that collection of tractors that Leeward has in Peru?" Gordy and I had been here and done a story on his tractor collection. Said, "We're going to expand that and turn it into an actual museum." And they did that, and they did it in short term. They're first opening their doors in 2010. They had planting day a couple weeks ago. We weren't able to be here. They'll have a harvest day in the fall, maybe 2 if they're harvesting different crops at the particular times. There's a blacksmith shop over here we just walked by. There's a Goshen store. Goshen is a little community that was nearby here. So they have a variety of stuff. As we said, the sawmill is down this way. If you play your cards right, you might go on a stagecoach ride from Frontier Town. They have one of the former Frontier Town. They have one of the stages, and it's not pulled by horses, but you can still get in the stagecoach and have a little stagecoach ride. There's that Goshen store. And up ahead, we said, is the sawmill. So if we were here a couple of weeks ago, we would have seen a lot of activity out here in the field, and it didn't take long for that corn to pop up. Even though we've had a dry stretch, that corn popped up pretty quick. And a month from now, it'll be knee-high, because it'll be the 4th of July, and that's the corn has to be knee-high on the 4th of July if you're expecting a good crop. So here's their sawmill. This is an active sawmill, just recently completing construction, and they will be sawing the timber and the lumber to make that one-room schoolhouse. I never had the pleasure of attending a one-room schoolhouse, although there was still one active in Perry's Mills, I believe, when I was in grade school years, and I was attending St. Mary's. That was part of the Champlain Central school system. And in the house I'm living at 1477 Ridge Road, right next door there's a lot there, and that lot was a one-room schoolhouse when my father and his family were growing up. The lot is still there. The building is long gone. So it's a quiet morning. I'm expecting more activity as the afternoon gets here. I've got family events to worry about, so I can't stay here too deep into the afternoon. A lot of belts, a lot of equipment, a lot of activity when everybody is here busy helping out. Leeward is making his way on the other side of that. He's following me, making sure I don't get into mischief. This is a shingle mill. Wooden shake and shingle mill, circa 1900, it says. I can hear them pounding the metal up in the blacksmith shop up ahead. And there are animals here, horses and some cattle. Here's the front of that Goshen store. This is an old-fashioned general store, as it would have been in the early part of the 20th century. It says, watch your step. And they've set it up with the checkerboard. If you want to come in here and have a checkers match, feel free. I don't see a pickle barrel though. They don't have a pickle barrel set up. A lot of items in here. Of course, it costs money to keep this operation going, so they always appreciate donations. A lot of old products. It looks like some of the kids have signed their names to the logbook here. And it even shows you a photo of how they used to play checkers in the general store, sitting by the wood stove. Here's some old hit and miss gas engines. A lot of equipment was operated with these back in the early part of the 20th century. Nothing I remember from my childhood, but I know there was a very active gas engine club for a while. It became a tractor and gas engine club, and haven't heard much from them recently. It'd be a shame if people started losing interest in the history of this country. So we're encouraging people to come and contact them on their Facebook page. Bring your youngsters here. Let them see what life was like. Even you people in your 40s and 50s will learn a lot. You don't have to be 10 years old to learn something here. If you have things that you think they would appreciate, a donation of. Here's a little display on GLF, which later became Agway, but GLF, and I know a good portion of this was donated by Jim Robbins of Champlain. He had an extensive GLF collection, and there's his name right there, proudly displayed. So if there's things that you think that might appreciate being shown here at the museum, I'm sure they'd be happy to entertain that. If you want to donate, they're not looking to purchase too many items at this point in time, but you can even get your name up there like Jim Robbins did. Although he spent his adult farming life here in Peru, Leeward was born and raised in Champlain, and I think he was somewhere around the 1956 graduating class at St. Mary's. Whatever year Celine Paquette graduated, that's the same year Leeward graduated. And this is the spot where we first, Gordy Little and I first came here. John Ryan had done an article for Denton Publications on Leeward's tractor collection, so Gordy Little and I came down and did our little corner episode with Leeward, and we're very happy later on to learn that he'd moved forward with this museum idea. So again, we can't encourage you enough. Contact these folks at their Facebook page, their website. Give them a shout and find out when it'd be a good time to come. They're open on Saturdays, occasionally on Sundays. Their Facebook page would give you that information. Babbie Rural and Farm Learning Museum, 250 River Road in beautiful downtown Peru. And always a pleasure to come here and chat with Leeward and his family.